Hello everyone. After having understood the construction of histogram, when class intervals are equal and when class intervals are unequal. Now we shall focus on the construction of histogram when midpoints of the class interval are given. We shall again take an example. For the construction of histogram, when midpoints of class interval are given, let's have a look at this illustration. Age of workers and number of workers are given here. Age of workers are given as midpoint, which are 15, 25, 35, 45 and 55, and number of workers as 10, 15, 20, 14 and 10. So we'll go step by step. First step is to convert the midpoint series into continuous series. This we have done it earlier also, but we shall repeat. Midpoint of first data is 15. Midpoint of second data is 25. Difference between two midpoints is 10. Half the difference between two consecutive midpoints is 10 by 2, that is 5. So first class interval, lower class limit, midpoint minus 5, that is 15 minus 5, it is 10. And upper class limit is midpoint plus 5, that is 15 plus 5, 20. So first class interval is 10 to 20. Similarly, one can find the class interval of other midpoint data by converting the midpoint data to continuous series as given in the next table. So class intervals become 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40, 40 to 50 and 50 to 60. Number of workers as given. Next step is that x-axis as a horizontal line and y-axis as vertical line are plotted. Value of the variables, age of workers are on x-axis, dependent variable number of workers on y-axis. And dependent variable is depicted as a vertical rectangle converted to scale from x-axis for each independent variable value. Next step is to select the scales. Axis scales should be selected so that all the values of the variables to be presented on axis are covered within the axis length of 5 to 7 centimeters. X-axis scale would be to represent the value of independent variable. Age of 10 years is represented by 10 mm point, which is point A on x-axis of the graph. So scale is 10 mm is equivalent to 10 years. Then one can select the scale for y-axis. Here say 5 workers are represented by 10 mm point represented by A dash on y-axis graph. So y-axis scale is 10 mm is equivalent to 5 workers. The next step is to find the length of axis. X-axis would comprise assumed bar width in millimeters into number of bars, that is number of class intervals, plus margin on the left side bar and margin on the right side bars. So assume a reasonable width of bar, which is 10 millimeter. Left side margin is 10 millimeter. Right side margin is also 10 millimeter. So number of class intervals, as one can see, are 5. So 5 bars would be presented. So the length of x-axis would be width of the bar multiplied by number of bars plus left side margin plus right side margin. Width is 10 millimeter, number of bars is 5, 10 into 5 plus 10 plus 10. So that makes it 70, it should be 7 centimeters. So length of x-axis is 7 centimeters. Similarly, length of y-axis can be found where maximum number of workers are 20, margin for workers is 5, highest scale marking on y-axis would be 20 plus 5, which is 25. So 5 workers are represented by 10 mm on y-axis. So length of y-axis would be scale of workers in millimeters divided by the number of scale workers into maximum workers, which is 10 by 5 into 25, it is 50 mm. and margin for upper end is 10 mm. Total length of y-axis would be 10 plus 50, that is 60 millimeters or 6 centimeters. Then you need to take a graph paper and select 0 near the left side of the graph at such a location that both x-axis, which is 7 centimeters long, and y-axis, which is 6 centimeters long, can be accommodated. Then draw a line OX 7 centimeters and draw a line OY, which is 6 centimeters. After that, you need to mark the age of workers on x-axis. Scale we have already taken as 10 mm equivalent to 10 years. Starting from 0, mark 10 at 10 millimeters distance, represented by A, and 20 at 20 millimeters distance. Likewise, mark up to 70 on x-axis so as to cover the maximum age of 60. Next is marking of number of workers on y-axis. Scale we have already taken. 10 millimeter is equivalent to 5 number of workers. Starting from point 0, mark 5 at the distance of 10 millimeters, represented by A dash, and 10 at a distance of 20 millimeters. Likewise, mark up to 25 on y-axis to cover the maximum value. Then plot frequency distribution graph, histogram. First data point is age of the workers, that is 10 to 20. Number of workers 10. So one can mark point A at mark 10 and point B at mark 20 on x-axis, shown as AB. Then mark point C at mark 10 on y-axis. From point A, draw a vertical line to meet horizontal graph line from C, which represents 10 workers at point D. Then from point B, draw a vertical line to meet horizontal graph line from C, representing 10 workers at point E. Then you need to join point D and E to complete the rectangle. Similarly, draw other data points to get frequency distribution graph, that is histogram. So one can keep making bars like that, and that's what one gets. It's a histogram when midpoints are given. To conclude, one needs to follow the similar steps as in the case of equal and unequal class intervals for constructing a histogram. That is, you need to select variables, you need to select scale, you need to select the length of the axis, mark dependent and independent variables. The only point different here is that since midpoints are given, you need to convert midpoints into the class intervals and then plot histogram. So with this, the discussion on histogram with midpoints gets complete. Next time, we shall discuss construction of histogram when class intervals are inclusive. So till then, keep learning and keep practicing. Thank you. To learn more, visit our website and enroll in our courses to master economics and get a higher score in CBSE and CUET examination. With our current introductory offer, you can enroll in each of the courses for just Rs 999. So, seize the opportunity and join before the introductory offer expires. Like, share and subscribe to EcoStudies channel. Also, drop a comment. See you in the next session for another concept. Thank you.